what we've learned is that early game leads don't always convert into wins.
Ever.
Now, we jump immediately into the pick and ban. Now remember, G2's happy to leave Smolder up.
Because they'll take it.
Because they will both take it, but also they have an answer into it as well. Now with the Zeri ban, maybe they just want to lock in the Smolder for themselves. I mean, why not? It's available. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So what is Carmine Corp's response? Does Upset play the Cogmore himself? Does he have another AD carry? Because bear in mind, that's 5. That is 5 AD carry gone in this game.
So now that we've had all off the board, as you said, we just got to consider the options. There's no range to come through with the Varus as well. As we look on the other side now, things like the Nautilus still open. You see Nautilus a very high priority today coming into 14-5. Orianna often banned away. When we talk about the Azir not being up and available, control mages that stand in the S to A tier. Right now you have to think, well, Orianna's probably one of them.
I definitely agree. We know that Caps is happy to play Nico into it. Of course, depending on what junglers you go, things like Ahri can also be very effective.
Yep.
But let's see where things go. Carmine Corp. Oh, they're going to go for the Senna, so they're going to try and match scaling for scaling. Senna will have a lot of range into the late game. Front-to-back style composition could very well suit Carmine if that is the direction they're going. We're looking at potentially something like a Sejuani in the jungle. Like hovering a number of different junglers right now. They're going to lock in the Jarvan. Okay. You expect this to go into the jungle position. Now, before I jump to conclusions, I have to remind everyone, Smolder is a flex pick.
Yep.
If any team is willing to flex it, G2 is definitely one of them.
Dude, Broken Blade plays anything top.
That's true.
It's kind of like Wonder.
100%. So we'll have to wait and see where this Smolder does end up going. But G2, they could just lock in the Nautilus now themselves if they want to. You know that Carmine likely want Tahm Kench or Nautilus for themselves. But the Nico, they want to guarantee that they have that answer into the Orianna available. Now, if Carmine Corp want to, they can lock in the Naut, and then they can look to ban away things like the Braum, the Renata, annoying things that could get in the way of Nautilus doing Nautilus things.
Because I will say that even just giving Senna Naut outside of the ban point there, Betty, as Tahm Kench just gets locked in, I was going to say, really great engage, but this is more like an LPL style of bottom lane here. I think Targamas had a lot of issues with some of the engaged supports last split. It is nice to see him on, you know, a bit of a mixed bag, I guess you call him more defensive bag in the Tahm Kench. And as you said, on top of that, maybe getting rid of some supports that deal with it. Might not be the Nautilus in play, but getting rid of the Blitz that could deal with the Tahm. That could be a nuisance here for some of the comp.
Let's see how they round things out. Blitzcrank going to be banned away. Xin Zhao taken away from Carmine Corp. We know that Bo... In my head, I was like, it's something like a Kindred or a Grave, something that he's thinking about. But they do need a little bit more engaged, a little bit more of a front line. Maokai Sejuani is kind of where my head is at right now for KC. Question is, do G2 think in the same direction, or do they think that Bo wants something a little more aggressive? This is definitely setting us up for a K'Sante top lane, that's for sure.
BB's answer into it was the Zac. It worked consistently in winter.
That it did. Of course, Zac, a very powerful top laner still. We saw it coming out from Elyoya in the jungle. Oh, so they're just going to ban the K'Sante away. Okay, they're actually going to leave that jungle pool open a little bit more. We've already seen a Lee Sin today, and I was just about to say, Bo is definitely the type of player that would love to get his hands on it.
He's a great carry jungler historically. When I casted him in FPX Bo, this would be his pick. That and Olaf.
I also think that it's just great into Jarvan. Early skirmishing is just a very effective matchup in favor of the Lee Sin. You also have a lot of disengage tools to like kick the Nico ultimate away potentially. And I wouldn't say that Lee Sin Orianna is like the strongest mid-jungle combo, but there's definitely potential there once the Orianna gets level 6. They have a lot of damage available to them. The Gragas being locked in definitely suggests it's going to be their blind pick top laner for Broken Blades. So how are they going to round out this draft? What are they looking for? Perhaps a little more engage, a little more utility.
Some supplementary engage from someone like Mickey X. Okay, so we know that Smolder's going bot, as we already did. We know Gragas is going top as well, even though Charmin in the past has gone top. But for Cabo, he has red side counter pick. And it feels like with the Lee Sin locked in, as you said, not as much setup in the other lanes. This could be the lane we look towards, or we could just look at Bo playing spoiler to try and counter-gank this entire game and get the lane through safely.
Yeah, my only issue with Casey's draft right now is that they're engaged in the easiest.
Very true.
You do have ways to start fights, but they're not straightforward, you know. You have flanking opportunities. Maybe if Orianna can find that shockwave, maybe if Cabo has that Mega Gnar and he can find a good ultimate. But G2 have a lot of easier ways to start fights. You have the Gragas ultimate to create either a pick or just disruption in the middle of a fight. Jarvan is EQ ult. You have Nico follow-up. Like, there's a lot of wombo combo potential on the side of G2. When we think about playing around these neutrals, in terms of a straight front to back, I look G2's comp overall, and I see a lot of potential there, but I also acknowledge the potential scaling on the side of KC's bot side of the map. The center Tahm Kench is something that, when it gets enough range, can be very difficult to deal with, and I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
But will G2 let KC's bottom lane get there? Because that's the problem. Like we saw yesterday in the Cogmore lane, G2 just flourished, popped off, and put all their attention bot. Vedius, I look at their comp and I see dive, 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 flap, dive. I see a lot of members that can go in and set up a miserable early game for KC. We set up the theme to see if their bottom lane can get through it. As we look to see if G2 can stay undefeated, wouldn't that just be the natural case for our winter champions?
I mean, G2 is the team that they will lose that game or two during the regular season.
Of course they will. But then they'll still go to MSI.
They'll still find their way. I mean, of course, they have locked a spot at MSI thanks to winning Winter.
There you go.
But they can cement that first seed if they can win Spring as well.
Yep.
But this lane priority, I mean, seeing such a high priority on Jarvan surprised me. He did, of course, receive some buffs. But I don't know if those buffs were enough to warrant such a high priority on the champion. Obviously, as a champion, he's very good at early ganks. Super straightforward. He EQ into engage.
Yep. Sorry, Benny. Struggling to kind of get that into my brain. The fans have come out. Like, man. You know, KC fans are loud, but it encourages everyone else to step up their game. I think since KC have came into the LEC, everyone's like, man, we gotta put in more effort.
Now look at this from KC, a delayed invade onto the Raptors.
Yes, indeed.
Bo gonna start there. What is Yike's response? He obviously has information of this. Caps has to be a little cautious, but Cisse can return to lane. Shouldn't be in too much danger. Gragas is the new go-to safe blind pick top. Now, for those that remember the finals, Broken Blade gapped Mirwin on this champion. He had like a 4-level lead in that 1v1. So we know that he is he's good at the champ.
Yeah.
Range matchups can be challenging, but for Gragas, I think he's one of the better ones because the amount of sustain he has on his W.
Very true.
But this is kind of what I expected in the early lane phase. Smolder doesn't have the strongest trading patterns, especially when paired up with a Rakan. It's very easy for Targamas to do this. So they're going to gain that prio on the bot side of the map. And Bo clearing out this entire bot side jungle. Yike just going to focus on his top side. We talked about how this is an advantageous matchup for the Lee Sin, and Bo is really trying to take advantage of that, but also leave this Smolder isolated. Don't give Yike the opportunity to actually invest in him early, or maybe even try and attack Upset and Targamas. He's really enabling Upset and Targamas to be set up for success here within the first 2 minutes of the game.
As Bo travels back to his bottom side, was in quite deep. Remember the start on the opposite side of the map. Yike is going to translate that into a vertical map in top as well, with a very pushed up Cabo Shard. So that is an angle to look at. As you said, the Smolder, the investment not going to be there with the slow push, with the control thanks to Bo. Giving that center Tahm the time that they want, giving the early game that KC definitely want as well. Wave gets pushed in. Targamas and Upset are going to be setting themselves up for the first plate as well, getting close. That's Flash for Flash. That was Caps, forcing it out of Seiken. Nicely done. Bit of chat energy from Caps.
As we, I mean, Caps continues to have a great year.
He was MVP quite by far in mid. Yeah, everyone said Caps is under turret. Is this an issue? Ignite down. Targamas misses the knock up. Under turret, KC pushed too far. Hansama still has his flash available. 20 for Upset to show, but Targamas now with no mana in the middle of no man's land is still a Tahm Kench. This is annoying. He does good damage, but Upset now has no summoners.
I was not expecting that. I mean, Smolder, when he gets level 3, has more damage than you expect.
Not that much more.
I mean, but Mickey with the knock-up there, I think, is really what set it up.
Yep.
The Ignite coming through very quickly as well. They don't have that combat summoner on the side of KC. The heal being used early to disengage. Flash gets burnt from Upset, and you talked about it. Coming into this game, Hysterics, Will Casey's bot lane be allowed just in the isolated 2v2? We were critical of G2's bot lane at the start of winter, but they've definitely found their form. And they're looking to try and win as many of these lanes as possible.
And they get the push in bot as well. Now remember, Targamas is the one absorbing the CS, but Senna loses salts. So it's still quite a big difference that's going to be created, considering that upset as he comes now. Maybe lost 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe not as big as I'm painting it out to be with the huge wave that now crashes in. But for KC, still, that crash comes through. Gives a bit of timing for Hansama here, who should be going back to get some damage and amplify that lane further. Also giving Mickey time to see what he can do around it.
Remember, Seiken, no flash.
Yep.
Caps trading his in order to burn that summoner. Continues to have push here in mid. Yike, though, not looking to do anything too aggressive in this early game. If we think about lanes that he can play around, now that there are no summoners bot or mid, that's where we would expect Yike to be looking for a gank. Cabo going to continue to interrupt the base of Broken Blade. Hasn't gone base yet, still has the TP available. Yike should gain information here on Seiken doing this. Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, that's enough. Bo gets out. First grab, remember, is still the EXP that you want. So 1 for 2. But no one cares about it. Grubs are
Grubs are grubs.
Grubs are grubs. EXP's great, but you know, in the long run, I'll say it again, dragons are everything.
Well, it's currently available. Resets come through from Upset and Targamas, mean that there's a window, this stacking wave for G2 to set up for that objective. But I look at the minimap and look at this squad moving their way towards the dragon and mid lane. Upset, Targamas, and Bo all hovering around here, working together to get this vision and start off this objective.
For Smolder, I'd be upset to see a member, probably of your extended family, getting attacked right now. So will G2 act on it? Biggest question is for Hansama, going to get this wave push first, then move over. Yike is moving in as well. Hello, let's look topside. That's because there's an all-in about to come through. Thank you, observers. Cabo Shard, no Mega Gnar there, but Broken Blade again with good trades on his Gragas. What's in those barrels?
Tasty beverage, one would imagine.
One that is PG-13 plus.
I imagine that too.
But not 18.
Well, Casey have been forced off of this. Caps getting level 6, making his way into the river. Casey were too hesitant to actually take that fight. Golf claps come through from the audience.
Now one person really likes Hextech Dragons dying. Really big fan of that. Oh, I don't like that one.
Broken Blade forced to use the ultimate.
Took a turret shot. No flash available for Cabo Shard. Boomerang. Nah, good timing at the body slam as well. Also, got some plan here, so he's got a bit of sustain. Won't be able to stay in the lane.
A lot of sustain. That's a lot of mana back for Broken Blade. Yeah. Of course, CS advantage still exists for Cabo, as you would expect in the range versus enemy matchup. Hansama continues to stack up. 40 stacks right now. Not bad. Nothing too crazy.
Have we kind of considered what is great at the moment? Maybe pausing that bow and look towards mid. Hang on, there's a flash bot side. Mum! Flies. So remember, Upset lost a bit of experience and almost dies because of it. Whew. The Senna falls out, but Hansama and Mickey X, I mean, by themselves, the 2v2. They're just playing it well.
They are. Mickey committing the flash,
yep.
Knowing that Upset didn't have it available. Of course, he does get away with his life very low. There's no jungler here to play with them, so they can't really threaten a dive. Hansama getting lower and lower on mana. Unlikely that they're going to be able to convert this into much.
Got a cookie, though.
Looks like he's not going to spend it, though. Going to choose to go back to base. Bo is going to steal away camps from Yike.
Yep.
Good utilization of the pressure that he has from both mid and top. Seiken moving over to assist with that. Yike's still going to tick over to level 6. A chew interrupting the bases there. Hansama going to catch an entire wave. Look at this lead that's starting to be built in bot lane. Across the map, it's KC that hold on to the gold lead for now.
If only just, I mean, 500, 400 gold. Cabo will extend that a bit. As with all that trading in topside, with the TP burn before, he's able to get a turret plate, he's able to push and deny this wave by the most amount. Caps, count your minions, Seiken knows. Good job. He's not falling prey, but he does actually, because he flashes. So it doesn't matter if he knew he was a minion, because Caps got a summoner out of him.
Yeah. Caps lost a lot of HP trying to set up that play. I mean, it definitely was. Should be able to heal that back. He still has his 3 biscuits. Don't obviously offer a huge amount of health, but it's better than nothing. Definitely should help with some of the mana issues, given that he's so low right now. Mickey looking for something in the enemy jungle.
A bit quiet there. I thought KC fans left for 9 minutes, you know?
Trying to keep the energy high. Yet to find first blood. A little surprising considering it is G2. Back to yesterday's game against Mad Lions Koi, they were off to the races right from the get-go with a cogmore that they were. But the aggression from Hansama and Mickey, that is definitely not faulted in any way. They're going to get themselves their second plate. Senna in the mid lane, as the Hansama's gold is only going to continue to climb.
I mean, Targamas can't walk up to this by himself. They're going to bring the whole squad down, Betty. I just wonder, are G2 aware of this? There's no vision in River.
Bit of danger. Here comes the engage.
Okay, Hansama safe for now. Chu slows them down. Boaz kick available and flashes a flash on top with Sake and Shockwave. And Hansama is better for it. Or should I say worse? Mickey up next, the range there. They tank it up. And all of a sudden, KC on the board with one big power play.
What a wombo combo. The ball delivery system is a flashing blind monk. Great engage from KC. They find themselves first blood. They convert it into 2. And while Caps will get a plate back, I think KC can be pretty happy with that one. Shutting this dragon down as early as they can. 1K now the gold lead.
Look at it again, as you said. Great setup here with G2. Hard pushing bot.
So what they'll do is they'll use the Shockwave first, and then Bo will flash at just the right time to make sure that it connects.
Oh,
beautifully done by Bo. He then kicks the dragon back. And just very well played. They even hand the kill over to Upset. KC punishing the aggression from G2's bot side. Bit of frustration, hard to tell with Dylan Falco. Stone cold as ever.
Yeah. His head's not in his hands and they're not getting frustrated. Or more frustration. I think it's okay.
But I mean, KC should be pretty happy with how this has started out. And admittedly, we've seen KC get leads before, and they haven't been able to always convert them. That's always been the challenge when playing against a team like G2. It's their mid game, which they took pride in last split. They often talked a lot about it, the main focus area of improvement. And so we'll see how KC can keep up with them and their movements around the map.
Because I think one of the big issues with KC was their mid game last split, you know, the ability to hold leads. I think a lot of LEC teams, you could say the same.
And quite frankly, just poor decisions, right? They would pick poor
Which
fights.
Usually happen in the mid game when people are fighting more, you know.
Sometimes they would like start these objectives, and often you would just be left with question marks when it comes to KC. But let's see how they navigate this. We haven't quite entered the mid game just yet. We still have all these plates up. Laning phase still very important. Yet to see Yike do anything. When I think of Jarvans, I mean, quite frankly, I feel like the Jarvan is a champion
has to do something.
that needs to be doing something. You know, if he's just full clearing every respawn of the camps, then I feel like that there were better options that you could have picked. You know, I think one of the strengths of Jarvan is its early game utility. But now the Dragon Beam started off. G2 already have the first one. Can they secure the second? Hansama in a bit of an awkward angle here.
Is indeed. G2 are sitting in the pit. There's the flash from Mickey, but he gets no one. Mum onto Targamas? I don't think so. They're going to dive on in. KC have already got the burn of ultis. Dragon goes down, but it's Pop Blossom on Cap. Tries to save the plate. Maybe it's okay. Cataclysm out. Flashes forward. Targamas saved. Upset, though. KC are fine with this. Oh, they're damn fine. Broken Blade has come in late, and he'll die late as well. Just like that, it's G2 6-0 down.
Bo completely making fun of G2, and Seiken securing a triple kill. KC were looking for a different version in Spring, and I think they've gone and found it. 6-0 in kills right now, a 3K gold lead. And it starts off with a blunder initiation from Mickey. Look at the reaction here from Bo. Wood over the wall, sidesteps the engage. Mom effectively useless. Caps now getting chipped away from the HP of Seiken. A nice flash engage locks them up. But then the consume from Targamas keeps Upset alive. Look at this play from Bo. Nice kick to get him close in range of Hansama. Cabo then comes over the wall, and Seiken there to finish off the kill. Very well played fight from KC. The coaching staff naturally elated. To get a win against G2 would be massive to start off their week 2-1, considering they started 0-3 in winter.
Oh yeah, completely different KC is kind of our story. However, it's got to get through the motions of the game, right? We've got a 3K gold lead. The problem is G2 can muck about and then people find out. people find out they're up a river without a paddle when they go up against G2. And that's, of course, giving them preface because they've been in the league for so long because they continuously do it. But for now, we praise KC and we look at this play and think, man, Seiken is the beneficiary. 4-0 on this Orianna, 2 items, and of course, just about to be 2 items that needlessly large. They're going to lose Herald as well. For G2, they're just observers, they're spectators to this. And KC pick up yet another objective. Mickey has to get out of there, and with the Herald, you have to think that there's going to be an open turret sooner or later.
The only air of skepticism I have...
I gave the air of skepticism.
No, it's not even just G2, it's just in the previous 2 games, we've seen this exact situation before.
But there's no Nautilus this time.
But there is a Smolder.
Oh, that could be an issue.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Senna,
I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, KC openly left the Smolder up, and they said, we believe that we have a champion that can match in terms of scaling.
Yep.
Obviously, Upset, so far, having a very solid game. Don't let his CS be the main determining factor. Of course, Tom Kench, the one receiving all of that farm.
Yep.
Senna just picking up here and there. But overall, KC naturally in a great spot. They're going to drop the Herald top. Going to try and unlock some of these outer towers.
Get in.
Put more pressure onto G2.
The whole family gets out. Like, it's like a clown car.
That it is.
You know, like, 10 of them get out. Dragon, excuse me, turret goes down. Completely different objects in the game. But that is first turret of the game, by the way. First brick is going to be shattered by KC top wall caps. Going to get this push in the bottom side. Try and get a trade. I think bot is going to be a little bit of a hard task with Targamas on the way with Seiken as well.
I mean, a lot of damage was done to that tower thanks to the laning phase of Hans and Mickey.
Also true.
We'll see. Targamas is just going to act as wave clear, I would imagine. Hunsummer being sent over to mid lane. Got a number of stacks, 154.
Actually, that's a lot, actually.
I think that's pretty good for 16 minutes, for sure. Right now, we wait.
What do you think the inspiration for Tom Kench was in the game? You think it was like a Pokemon? You think it was like Licky Tongue? They just thought, man, this would be cool.
No, I don't. When you think of Tom Kench, you think Lickitung.
I
That's
do.
what you think.
I remember Nintendo 64 Pokemon Stadium. There's a game, you know, as Licky Tongue, you'd eat sushi.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
We're old, man.
It's not that bad. There's still be people out there who are like 5 years younger who had the same experience. You know, and you eat the, I think you eat the wasabi, and then Licky Tongue has a really bad time. That's what I think every time he reaches out to a champion who's like, man, that wouldn't taste good.
Probably not.
But yeah, that's what goes through my brain. So.
Fair enough. Your brain is a unique one, that's for sure.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yike yet to really have impact so far in this game.
Yeah,
saying that 0 kills.
You said earlier on, you're like, yeah, I've done anything. To be fair, the Cataclysm, what we saw bot in front of Dragon, was the first time we've seen something done. Maybe topside that's going to change. Cabashot.
Pop used.
Flashes away. They get a free flash.
TP response.
Broken Blade waiting for it, though. Explosive Cask in hand. It's only Targa. So...
And this will leave the Dragon, well, in an awkward spot, because Targamas is now TP top, but Yike is still here, so...
it doesn't get it. Doesn't get the knock and be flashed for that. G2 also teleporting for this. Cabo's out with the minion wave. Flash from Caps doesn't connect. Pop Blossom doesn't connect! Failure after failure from G2. It's just going pear-shaped.
A comedy of errors as G2 failed to connect any CC on a Cabo. He gives him the thumbs up and shows, yeah, not today. That's going to be an easy Dragon secured for KC on the other side of the map. Upset left to solo farm in that bot lane, chipping away at that tower as well. And so much invested. Flash from Caps, flash from Yike, TP from Caps. Ultimate used. Cabo forced to flash himself, but KC feeling very confident. You have to feel like after that sequence of errors, like, Cabo's just going to be laughing. He's going to be like, oh, we're in their heads, lads. You know, like, you got to feel confident after that.
Yeah, not him. But G2, I love how at the start of this game, you're like, you know, G2 every now and then in the split have, like, one of these kind of games.
Oh, they do.
This could
They
be
lost to Rogue last split.
True. Very true. I mean, here, not to
Did they lose to KC? I feel I've completely blanked. Was that one of their last games of the split?
You'd like me to find out, wouldn't you?
I've completely forgot. I know KC won 2 games.
Betty's, I don't even know what I had for breakfast yesterday. Don't blame yourself, man. Like, I honestly don't remember how I got here. So, G2 versus KC. No, they did beat them.
Okay,
G2 lost to Rogue, as you said. You know, that was the comedy game. Vitality as well you can put in there because Vitality last split went the same.
Yes.
But,
okay.
But no, on your point, I mean, this is G2. And I know a lot of people at home will be like, you guys just give excuses to G2. Well, they keep winning. That's the problem. They keep winning, like, playoffs, and they keep winning finals. They're already going to MSI. The first team confirmed for MSI.
It's the benefit of the doubt. But, like, in this position, obviously, KC, this is their game to lose, right? With the composition they have, I think they're in a great spot. Senna is at 70 stacks herself. You know, we were talking about so much Handsummer stacks. Like, they're a little small on your screen, but you can see them next to Upset's portrait, just above his level. Same for Handsummer. 200 is on his icon, and 71 now for Upset. When they reach those late game points, is 225 for Handsummer, about 100, 120 for Upset. Mom going to be called.
Good job in the wave.
I mean, she's often used, like, it can be very difficult to siege against a smolder.
Isn't that sad? Just call her when you know, you can't be bothered to touch the wave. You're like, Mum will do it.
Isn't that the story? Like, that is the sad story.
The gamer story.
You just leave your dishes on the side and think, Mum will do it.
Mum will do it. You'll be right. She'll clean this up.
It was Mother's Day, of course, at least in the UK on Sunday. Shout out to all the mums out there.
Oh, props to all mums.
Yeah.
Was it actually? I don't think.
Yeah, in the UK it was.
Yeah, the UK, that's why. You know, I'm not a bad
It's not
son.
the same everywhere in the world, which has always confused me.
Well, I don't know why they don't just do it. You know, do it the same. It makes sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you would think so. Like, but then, like, there's also questions about daylight saving time, my friend. I still don't understand that.
Well, it's different. You just put your clock back an hour. But that's fine. Time zones make sense. You know,
okay, time zones make sense.
In general, yeah. Daylight saving time can be a big argument. But national holidays. Always have to wonder that one. Is
true.
Look, I just have to say, in this game, nothing's happening unless KC really want it to happen.
That's correct.
G2 are just on the defense. Targamas flashed for that.
I don't think he needed to, but all right.
Neither do I, so he gets sneezed on as a result. And Handsummer, with his next wave, will have full stacks. I feel like at 20-minute mark, that's still pretty good.
Ideally, KC would love to take this tower down because it's easier to move into the enemy jungle when you unlock that. You can see KC getting a bit of vision down. That's immediately going to be cleared out by the Scryer's Bloom. Of course, enhanced thanks to the Chem Salt we have on the Rift. Cap's finally going to secure G2's first tower of the game.
Yeah. Again, lies in the problem. Mid-game of G2, their strength. For KC, if they just keep chilling, buddy, are we okay?
Sorry, I just realized Deathcap's second Forsaken, and Caps was like, okay, Deathcap second for me as well. So both these mid lane mages are going to be doing a lot of damage. Caps, I wonder if he's going to have it on this next base.
Yep.
Let's find out.
There, surely.
Oh, yep. There it is. All right, so
2 items.
2 items. Very big spike for him. Dragon spawning in a minute's time. Now, G2 could afford to give this one over. Maybe they sit there and say, you know what, we just want to scale more. We have Smolder on our side. Caps still wants a few more items before we force a fight. They have that choice. The question is, are they in the same mindset as us? Do they think that they need to fight this dragon, or are they happy to concede it? Because they could trade it for like a top tier 1, for example. Maybe they actually trade it for mid tier 1. Both mid towers still being up 22 minutes in is obviously a very long time. Seiken has pushed in that top wave, has the TP available to him, but is already going to start making his way down to join with the rest of his team. Cabo actually abandoned that bot wave, a little cautious because he doesn't have full information as to where everyone is. Cap's now being spotted on top, should help him. He's now moving over towards mid. That will give them a numbers advantage and a bit of deeper vision towards this bot side jungle.
Let's just remember for KC, as they move down, again, we're questioning whether G2 are going to look at this. If this turns into a fight, remember the engage. Cabashard, obviously, with the person that needs to be relied upon, sitting on the Mega Narbar. He's not hitting Dragon. He's letting it wear down a bit and finding out if G2 are coming in on this. As now with the vision on the side, G2 are threatening, but they're nowhere nearby. Yike is off the back here on the Raptors. Dragon's going to be gone. Broken Blade's just going to try and do something. Explosive cast. Close, but it is Bo who secures for the second campaign.
So the cross map is, in fact, just going to come through from G2. They'll take the top tier 1. Equalize the towers throughout the game. The goal difference hasn't really extended anymore for KC. Obviously, they found some great fights in the early game, but off the back of that, it has been a very slow affair. Targamas, no flash, remember.
Remember this next feud here. Mum once again. Targamas is getting burnt down. He's in the Cataclysm, but he's not dying. Upset steps forward, gets a couple of stacks for himself, and for G2, they don't have the damage yet. especially not to take on this Tom Kench.
Caps on the flank, he's cautious, and he should rightfully be so. Bo is just there ready. They thought they could punish Targamas, far too tanky. When Seiken does arrive, Yike was forced to flash away because the shockwave was coming through. Yike was able to dodge away from it though. No kills secured by G2. KC hold on to their lead for now. They keep their mid lane tower alive, and now they've equalized the dragons. The game will likely return to a neutral state as farm continues to come through from either side. And you ultimately have to question, who does this favor more? Upset, very close to 100 stacks. Of course, Hansama 262 though. And I've been very afraid of Senna late games ever since she's been released, right? She's a terrifying champion in the late game. But we've got oh!
Mickey, what are we doing here? Trying to get out now as he flashes away, I believe. No, he actually, yes, he does. Sorry, a bit of a spectator delay. Mickey does get out, but no flash available for disengage of Rakan.
But yeah, I wonder who is scarier, Smolder or Senna?
That is a great question. Well, I mean, Senna keeps getting range. Mum, once again, you got to think with how many times Mum gets called, that's got to be Dad at some point, right?
Nope, because it's called Mum.
Yeah, but still, like, Mum's cooldown is not that long. There's no way. Call the father, uncle, somebody deal with this, bro. There's no way whatsoever as Cap tries to get a Tangle Barbs out, Upset tags him and tag him again, nor does Bo. Mickey's coming back in, but remember, he just burned his flash.
Really like the way in which Upset used the wards to then apply the Q to connect onto Caps there. Of course, can't really convert it into much else. Casey just kind of dancing around. Scaling continues, 102 stacks now hit for Upset. The 80 carry level difference is obviously quite significant.
Yeah. Respect.
As you rightly said, the rapid fire cannon coming through for Hansama should be very close to completing that.
Base yet, so we'll just wait for that base timing. Because again, I was pointing to that video because I'm like, man, 3 items model with rapid fire, the Q, extra range.
Finally siege onto this, they're looking for the fight.
Oh, it's perfect! It's perfect! It's the Thunderdome! KC knocked around, sent around, and as the burn follows through, Seiken's up next, spitting hot fire and spitting the dirty sneeze from Hansama. Cabo runs away as well, he had no Meganar. And all it takes is one fight in the mid-game, all it takes is one moment in the mid-game, and G2 are back.
And this is what we talk about when it comes to G2. They've earned that pedigree, they've earned that right, that you can never really afford to count them out. A great fight found in the mid lane. KC were caught completely by surprise. The Baron is going to be unlocked. No jungler, no smite. Can KC stop this from being secured?
Baron's going to go down. All it takes is a smite. Yike can't let it go, and he won't, as now low health bars bring KC in to try and get a fight off the back, and Mickey is taken out. So only 4 Barons left as KC continue to chase up. Caps now out with the Mega Blast Cone. Cabo flashes Tangle Barb. Caps dies too. How much else can they get onto Broken Blade? Is Targa alone? No, Cabo's about to go to Mega. Waiting to fight this off. This is too far forward. Targa can still get executed with the shield down. Mum flies through, but no Q as Cabo flies over his teammates, and now Baron be damned. Yike comes in, makes it a yakety sack. We're dancing around. Bo's there. Flag and drag. Shockwave down under the turret. What is going on, everyone? It's a fire sale.
It is a bloodbath in the top lane. KC wanted to take as many Barons away from G2 as possible, but we have to go all the way back to this fight in mid. Look at the angle from Broken Blade and Yike. Mickey comes in with the engaged follow-up. Broken Blade keeps them in place, though. The ultimate from Targamas is good to keep Seiken alive, but the Shockwave can't do much to turn it around. Cabo doesn't have any rage stored up in the tank, doesn't have the ultimate available, and it is just a one-sided fight for G2. But the re-engage from KC is spectacular. They chase G2 down, who have nothing left. All of the ultimates have been used. Everything is gone. And so Casey's just looking to get pick after pick, but we're straight back into the action.
Explosive cast, beautiful. Seiken's caught out. The Oriana's caught out. Take away the Baron, sure, but G2 keep taking away lives from KC to make this a more even game.
Buff also likely going to go over. The gold has basically been equalized. G2 going to put themselves on Soul Point. KC have shown some impressive fights. I love the confidence that we have been seeing from this KC squad. They seem much more coordinated, even if it was a bit overzealous towards the end of that skirmish.
Yeah.
They were able to get so many Barons off of G2. You can see only 1,000 gold is the Baron power play. But G2 are unrelenting in their aggression.
Bo and Targmas lucky to get out. In a turret next on the menu is for G2. 4 members approach mid. Bo's trying to defend, but how ambitious is he right now? Sonic Wave goes to a miss. Inner turret drops on down. The onslaught with, I think we've got 1 Baron left remaining. Of course, it was Broken Blade who still survived. So with that 1 Baron push, Casey are getting onslaughted. Explosive cast, see you later.
Dyke gonna flank, drag away to safety. That. Ooh,
Gage.
Dyke in danger. Oh, nice.
Flag and drag, the timing comes back.
Oh!
Top Blossom!
Oh!
It's clapped! Everybody, you know the story, you know the legend. They might look good from KC, but then you clap your hands, put them together, and the deed is done.
The shockwave was so good from Seiken, but the ultimate from Caps was even better. And just like that, G2 will end this game.
He performed out of his mind in winter, and he continues to do so again in spring. G2 may have looked out in the early game, but never, ever doubt them as their mid-game continues to flourish. 3-0 at the end of the first week. That's G2.
Caps, man. I really thought Seiken had found the shockwave to win them another fight, but then he just goes and one-ups him. Caps rated undisputed best mid laner last split, and he's looking to do the same here. 3-0 on the weekend.
It's just insane. Any playmaking champion, put it on him, and Caps will show you how it's done. It's funny, we're talking about Hans Summer on the Smolder. Betty is for standing by as we go to Law on stage with Hans Summer.
Thank you so much, guys. Great cast for this game, of course. And Steven, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Congrats on winning this one. I was watching the beginning of the game, as all of us were, I guess, thinking it's Monday Fun Day again for G2 Esports. Throwing for content again. Tell me about this one. We know that Smolder is hard in the early game, but you guys took it a bit too far.
Yeah, definitely. It was Monday, so it's a big challenge for us in the Mondays, it looks like. Yeah, talking specifically about this game, I think the early game we kind of messed up some things, and they got ahead. Personally, I was very confident to still win the game because I had a lot of stacks going on in the early game, and I feel like if nothing happens, which nothing happens after a certain point, 0-6 for like, I don't know, 10 minutes it felt like, then the game is just good for Smolder. The champ looks quite strong when he gets to
It
farm,
does, yeah. Interesting champion. We'll talk about this one a bit later. I don't want to take any credit to what KC did today. Of course, a much better showing than what they displayed in Winter. Did you expect them to be so proactive on the map and maybe to challenge you that much?
Yeah, I feel like in the early game they played quite well.
Yeah.
At the Dragon fight, they executed it well. So we all collapsed there. So yeah, props to them for the early game. Yeah.
All right, last question for you, Hans, because we have all the fun about G2 Esports, throwing for content and everything, but I think it can be a bit of a headache for your coach and your coaching staff. What do you think Dylan is going to say after this one?
Guys, gotta be more precise in some of the plays.
All right.
I think we definitely felt that we were stronger than we were in some of the fight. Some of the fight, no, there was just one fight, basically a dragon fight. I guess they were maybe stronger than us. It looks like that's maybe we're not really honest with ourselves, or
right.
I don't really recall exactly how was the game state, but.
It is part of the process when you coach G2 Esports, actually, the hard attacks. We have Yike on the other side in PGL with Shocks. Anything you think of his performance this week overall? What did you think of your jungler? He wanted to go back on carry champions, you put it back on tank. I don't think he's supposed to have fun with you guys. Tell me.
Well, I think your jungler, Yike is pretty strong. He can play everything, but he hasn't brought a single tree yet.
Right.
Are you planning to bring them back?
Oh, are you planning on bringing the trees back? Yike, over to you, Shocks, for PGL. Thank you, Hans. I hope not.